on map number 2. Excited to see what they're going to do, as the first map ended up being quite exciting, but I do anticipate Gen.G to come out a little bit stronger here on Haven.
It's still a question mark for me right now for FaZe, because although I did see them lose versus TSM on this map, what I did like to see was somebody like Corey that's able to get a couple of those entries on the defender side, and that's where they're starting off first. He pushed very aggressively multiple times towards short A, towards long A, but the thing is, he was playing as a Reyna. This time they're actually switching things out to put Corey onto a Raze, an agent that he's very comfortable with, an agent that he's very good with. It's still a duelist, but maybe we might not see that type of aggressive peaks, aggressive pushes from FaZe Clan, where paint shells could maybe help on these retakes that needed to be worked on for FaZe Clan. So you already see there's a little bit of homework that's been done. How do you fix a couple of things in terms of the kinks and gaps in their defense that they may have? And we'll see if this agent composition now will be the answer.
Well, 55 seconds left on the round, and just some shots being fired thus far. The Raze taking a bit of scratch damage, but not much has actually occurred. As we wait to see what the plan is, it looks like Gen.G is going to be moving onto the A site, where BABYBAY is going to make contact. A quick dash away results in limited damage sent in his direction. Good timing on the peak. Almost netted them success against MkaeL, who's now got 2 targets to deal with. A big fat paranoia coming through. Corey's trying to do what he can to survive. BABYBAY stuck around the corner, has to fight his way out, somehow finds a kill. And we've got ourselves in a 2-on-2, now a 2-on-1. It's numbers advantage for FaZe, and they capitalize. FaZe with a big pistol round win, picking up where they left off on map number 1.
The off angles, the plays with the frenzy. I mean, FaZe has done that on that previous map as well. We see how strong those frenzies are coming into play on the pistols now. And it was just trade after trade. The early rotations that came in from FaZe, a late push into the A site where you didn't really have much to try to get information aside from the dart maybe that came into the site. But as much as information you could get, you still have to win those fights here for Gen.G. And unfortunately, it doesn't come into play. So FaZe Clan, foot on the ground, early pistol to win. They win with 2 players still alive, and BABYBAY looking for some verticality and looking for a pick long range with the Bulldog. But with that positioning, that allows now Sova to fall back and stack up on the B side with Corey, while you have their Owl right behind a push from Gen.G to try to split into C.
Blocking sight.
Trying to move in is Gen.G, and they've managed to gain access to the site. Can they hold? We've seen some of these force buys from Gen.G before, and we saw them in the last map. They weren't as successful on Ascent, but here they've gained site control. And we've got ourselves a 4-on-4 as kills come through as the spike touches pay dirt. The clock ticking down, and time going to be a problem for FaZe as they wait for that smoke to dissipate. There's 3 players around the corner. He actually moves away and kind of opens up his teammate to the death squad that was waiting on the other side. Gen.G survive with 3, and they upgrade as well to some rifles. So that's a huge pickup, and a big round coming in from Gen.G as they return fire after losing the pistol round and take one over FaZe.
And that's it for FaZe, right? They maybe did not expect 3 players to push all the way towards the spawn. We have a pause here at the same time, and it's going to be a technical pause. But at the what I was trying to say is, as they were waiting for FaZe, they were just waiting for that smoke to clear. And as the smoke clears, they want to try to have that reaction time and get the kill instead of using utilities to maybe attempt to go for a retake if they could. And Gen.G, knowing that, they pressed 3 guys towards the spawn, they went for the trade-off, and that was beautiful. And like you said, Buck, it was a dash away from BABYBAY, but kind of put his team in a tight spot where they couldn't play for the trade instead, and it became 2 situations of 3 versus 1 that allowed Gen.G to have a very nice post plant getting into the site. So despite getting a lot of map control earlier on and having an idea that the hit was happening towards the C side, thanks to the positioning from BABYBAY before at long A, they still weren't able to play that retake. And that's what I said at the pregame before this matchup. What's going to happen for the retake attempts for FaZe Clan? Have they brushed that up? So far, they've been forced into an eco into this round because of that.
You have a pause coming through. Not sure on the nature of it, given that I don't see anyone not moving. It doesn't appear to be technical in nature, but it would be somewhat odd for it to be tactical as well. But we should see the pause come undone in just a second. We're being told a player's PC crashed. I'm not sure which one.
Somewhere for Gen.G, but...
I see all of them moving, though.
They're back. They're back. We're back and resuming.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
a quick restart of the game.
Yeah, and an eco here for FaZe Clan. You don't really see them stacking up right now. What they could do is maybe a camera towards Garage, Owl drone towards B main, trying to see if Gen.G is going to push somewhere really fast towards any of the sites. It's going to be a camera instead. Recon dart towards B main, towards Garage, and a camera onto the area. But as they see nothing, they're pushing up towards the sewers for FaZe Clan. So they really want to try to play the pulse angles and gamble on those areas. But Gen.G decided to push back towards the Garage instead, where it worked on that previous round. They have the Stingers versus pistols. They still have the weapons advantage. So choosing C, not a bad plan.
huynh moving on to the site. Picking off one as Shawn does as well, but with just pistols in front of them, this isn't exactly a difficult round for Gen.G to win.
Spike planted.
Corey will be backing off towards mid to try and get one more for the side of FaZe. Maybe steal an SMG away. Nice dink shots coming out from Corey. Delivers 2 to the dome of player 1. Take 2 and call me in the morning. Shawn with the final kill of the round. It's not as terrible as it could have been if potentially Corey could have done something more dastardly with that SMG. But now the rifles come in. And you have huynh who's going in favoring the knives. So huynh with the Blade Storm, gonna try to open things up. Got 2 SMGs, a Bulldog, and a Phantom. And on the other side, you've also got BABYBAY with the Blade Storm. So we're gonna have dueling Blade Storms coming in from Jetts on both sides. The only ults available for either team.
This is gonna be so fun to watch. I'm pretty sure they simultaneously got popped off at the beginning of the round, and it's going to be BABYBAY going at the sewers to start a camera to spot long A2. So this is good for FaZe Clan once again. Maybe an Owl drone from the Sova is going to come out towards the sewers. That will maybe allow BABYBAY to continue to press forward if they wanted to. On the other end, though, of the map, as we're looking at a point of view of Corey, there's still pressure towards the Garage for Gen.G one more time. Yes, the guns came in for FaZe Clan, but it's still going to be a bonus round for Gen.G with the Spectres that they have. And it's going to be another attempt of a split into C. And once again, it's going to be huynh dashing into his own smoke, but they are ready for it this time. Corey and Marv dropping to player 1 looking to clutch, but BABYBAY flies into the air and just planes a little bit, gets the headshot with the knives, and that's 2-2.
FaZe return fire. The ult for huynh doesn't produce the success that Gen.G was hoping to find. Still plenty of money, though. So both teams will be coming in and fielding a buy. Player 1. It looks like he asked for a buy from somebody else as his money wasn't good enough. I believe he got it from MkaeL, who's down to 0. So still enough cash in the reserves to come back with a full buy round. What do they decide to do? It looks like early on they would go fast towards this A site. There's only one player here, and that'll be their Cypher, who's actually playing off the site, laying the cam down in the tripwires and just using the cam to spot player positions. It's one of the high cams up in the corner, one of those ping spots, not dart spots. They'll use it to try and just give away the intel. It's actually not as high as one might hope, so it might be taken out pretty quickly. Owl drone to go in first will likely take out that tripwire on short. No, they actually fly over it using the drone to instead spot a position out on site. There's the Hunter's Fury coming out as well. Corey trying to dodge the pulses coming through. Fires a rocket off and misses. Player 1 picks off Corey, but ZachaREEE's found 2 through that dark cover in heaven. Now player 1 trying to sneak into sight, but BABYBAY is there with the op. MkaeL gunning down ZachaREEE through deep into heaven. And now it's a 1v1, the mirror match. Omen v Omen. Spike down on site. Guimon's got the line of sight. It's a 3K on the round for the Frenchman. Or actually the French-Canadian. I say Frenchman, but you know what I meant. And Gen.G keep the lead. Listen, he speaks French, okay? It's fine.
Of course he does. Don't being a French-Canadian myself, I know that.
What's your... I shouldn't ask that question. I was going to ask... Do you get heat from actual French people from France? Like, oh, you're not really a Frenchman.
I usually get that just because I'm Asian. That said, though, we're just looking back at that previous round. What I really like from FaZe Clan, we talked about the mid-round decision, the end-round decisions for FaZe Clan 2 is just due to the fact that the retake plays were a little bit off versus TSM, right? But what I did really like to see from FaZe Clan was that they actually pushed out from the defender side and fought back versus Gen.G to allow that. What I didn't like in the end on that 1 versus 1 was that you could have definitely gone for a spike plant instead of going for the tactical crouches to add a little bit more credit for Gen.G after winning that round on a 1 versus 1, just in case you want to bring that into further rounds. But FaZe kind of adjusting to that. I do also want to see how they're going to play a pulse plant situation, but Gen.G did a great job on a scrappy take towards the A side to win a 1 versus 1 in the end and force FaZe Clan on an eco.
The nade around the corner. That was a good heads-up play coming in from FaZe. Unfortunately, Iman's a little bit further back. But KekW is in the chat. He's got 69 HP. FaZe now trying to come back into the site, and it's down to just one player. It's a flawless round win for Gen.G as they take the lead 4-2, doubling up FaZe Clan's round total. A buy will be coming in. BABYBAY can't get the op he very much loves, so it's going to be a rifle for him, or will it? Not sure what the hesitation is here. Is he saving to buy an op? Oh, okay.
He definitely won't get an op at that point because they don't have money for that too. So he's definitely going to go for that rifle.
Yeah, I was confused because it was just a really late buy.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to see if somebody else could drop, trying to figure out the economy of who had more, so that maybe one of them could buy an operator while he drops a Vandal, but in the end, they probably realized the only thing they could do here for FaZe is just go all Vandals, all Phantoms at the same time, ARs to sum it up for FaZe Clan. And a stack for 3 players towards the seaside, really focused on that area. Make that possibly yeah, 3 players there, but Corey in a very good aggressive position towards a long, forced to fall back as they bait out from the satchel charges to get 2 kills, and Corey chimes in with a 3rd. But GMD, he's not done. He drops 2. Trying to even up the tally on these trades, but he's at 30 HP. A very difficult position right now for the last 2 players of Gen.G versus 3 very healthy FaZe Clan players. The advantage now, though, because they have 3 players on defense for FaZe Clan, they're playing 1A, 1B, 1C, so this allows a 2-1 take for Gen.G. And it's looking to be towards this mid side as they fake a smoke towards tower, which allows the rotation of Marv at A link and possibly a plant now coming through.
Nowhere to run!
Last player stand. 1 enemy remaining.
It goes down, the ult just a little bit late, but it does pick up a kill regardless. It's now down to 1 player and 1 player alone. MkaeL, deep in mid, back behind the big box. This is going to be tough. They've got Omen, so there's the smoke potential on the spike, of course.
Exactly where you are.
And there's the smoke coming in, and the neural theft as well, making it incredibly difficult. It's just really not a winnable scenario. So ZachaREEE gonna secure that spike defusal in the end. FaZe Clan with a solid retake on the B site. And that ult certainly helped. It made it a lot easier as they had that distance kill come through to make it a 1v3, excuse me.
Well, at least from that spike plant, they still have enough money here for Gen.G. FaZe looking very strong. They're on that hold at long A. So as I keep saying, what will these post takes look like? The neural theft was very big for FaZe Clan, but when they don't have that kit, when they don't have that available, what can they do with this composition? I'm still waiting for that right now, but you know, it's really back and forth. At 3-4 scoreline, you still see the situation happening in terms of the players still alive at the end of the round. It's still very close too. It's very scrappy for these 2 teams is what I'm trying to say. And I like it. I like how both of these teams are really fighting for tournament life, trying to make it into the top 4 for first strike. And this time, Gen.G just creeping up. This is going to surprise Marv. Easy kill, maybe? It's a one-way that comes out. Yes, the kill still comes through, but Gwyn is at 30 HP. Thankfully, though, they are able to open up onto ZachaREEE in the back of the side as well. As you try to rotate on the defenders, it's going to be a slow rotate. You still have a lurk towards mid. Now as he gets spotted, it's still going to be MkaeL. Although BABYBAY had the advantage on the angle, MkaeL was able to switch out to his weapon, get the frag, and it's looking to potentially be a flawless unless Gen.G really wants to go for the hunt. On a 5 versus 1, I don't see why not, but they have no idea where that last player is playing at.
You can see him just hiding in the back of sight right now. He's back behind the gong. And he just wants to save the rifle. Gen.G, FaZe, it's a back and forth, but it seems like the back and forth is favoring FaZe just a little bit, as they're able to find maybe 1 or 2 rounds in a row instead of a 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. You'll see that when we take a look at the scoreboard here in just a second. You can see that FaZe wins the pistol, 2 rounds for Gen.G. FaZe wins a buy round, 2 rounds for Gen.G. FaZe wins a defuse, a round for Gen.G. If we're following patterns and this patternistic behavior, this should be a round for Gen.G. Based on what we've seen play out thus far, this should be a round. Now, I do think it's interesting. Of the 8 rounds we've played thus far, only 2 have a spike plant. So it's the last 2 rounds that we finally saw the spike go down. One round is, or the spike is diffused, and then the next, the spike detonates. Now, the buy coming in from FaZe. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Literally, like, just in time.
Well,
that was so incredible. Like, look, 1 second left as a tech pause came through.
Yeah.
They are like, the walls disappear at 1 second. So, like, the wall goes down. I thought it did, and then they paused as soon as the round went live, and I was like, this is going to be awkward.
And the thing is, when you're looking at how FaZe Clan is playing so far and why you only see 1 blow up, 1 defuse, excuse me, is because they have that aggressive push at the beginning from BABYBAY and from Corey along A, and more of a stack towards C, because, again, if you look at the composition, but this time for Gen.G, they don't really have anything to go for a post plant inside the B site, because they don't have mollies, they don't have nades, they don't have anything to really prevent a smoke diffuse kind of thing. And as I say that, they're going to try to plant inside the site and potentially play like a fallback and just spray through the smoke in the end. And because FaZe Clan notices that, they're putting most of the stack in the extremities on the defense on the extremities. And also because of that, they're able to quickly push down towards Garage and get the backstab. So you don't even get a spike plant, but GMD pushes towards A-Link. MkaeL back on the flank to get the headshot onto Marved. A second onto ZachaREEE. A 2 versus 1. Rawkus, the last man standing, has 2 shock darts. Here's the Omen teleport, but he has control of the spike. Oh my god, he just came out from the shadows and almost got picked by Rawkus. But Gimo was able to fall back. They have a Hunter's Fury too. And they might even wait for the, I was going to say, they might wait for the recon dart to come out. He already has it ready. And as it pings, it's not on the left side. They could think that it's on the right. And a little bit of an individual play. They don't set up for the trade, so it could still be very winnable here for Rawkus.
30 seconds left.
Gimo just on the other side at the B cubby. 26 left on the clock. Looks like we will surrender the spike and allow GMD to try to go for a spike plant. And maybe you could catch him with the time remaining. Oh no, the barrel's sticking out, but GMD still gets the kill. The reaction time, turning it across to get the kill onto Rawkus. He saves the round for Gen.G.
How? How does that happen? I feel like that is a massive fumble from Rawkus. To have him spotted out by the barrel, to know that position of that player, and still somehow lose.
Unlucky.
That's disappointing for FaZe for sure. Guimon with the quick reactions. The young blood currently leading the chart for Gen.G, 10 and 4 from the Omen. Gen.G 6-3.
Cover going out.
We'll be moving into another round here where Marv wants to get aggro, and oh, that dark cover couldn't have come at a better time. Did he get past it? Yes, he did, but spotted out after getting that first kill. There's just too many players on the other side of that one, so the aggressive play almost worked out. And they're trying it elsewhere as well. You can see they've pushed down mid too, so they have players pushed down mid, players pushing down C. They still haven't dealt with Raze, who's pushed all the way down mid. Neural Theft going to give away the position, so now they know what's up. The C site is mostly empty. There's just one player in Garage that they have to deal with. It's Rawkus, who actually puts a nice shock dart down, but takes significant damage just trying to do that. It's a 4-on-3 as the spike goes down. Rawkus sends his Owl drone through dark cover. Nade to come out as well.
They're in a great post plant position too. I like the fact that they're just really pressed up towards the site now for Gen.G on the crossfire. I know it's only against ecos, but this definitely sets up for these crossfires, for their trades, instead of trying to play the spike, especially when it's not really planning for long. You have Gimo that's going to watch the flank, and they're just going to try to run that clock down. You're trying to do that econ damage, but huynh is the one that's tallying up the ult points by getting 2 kills and getting the Blade Storm ready for the next round. Corey gets nice 2 of them for his efforts, and that's going to make it a little bit more pricey for Gen.G. But like I said, because he had the Blade Storm ready, I like this. It's okay. He wants to die with it because he doesn't want to just save 1,000 credits. So he is able to get the full bonus into the next. So don't be like, lol, kick W, he died from the spike. He just played that very well for Corey.
I think the other concern is if he escapes, he'll run into somebody and they'll get another kill.
That too.
I thought that maybe he misjudged the distance for a second and wanted to run up to the border of it and try to run in and grab something. But
I think they were a little bit too far for him to run in because they were.
Yeah, I think
he got those kills right at long C, so it was practically impossible.
Cover going out.
Gen.G again favoring long C to start the round.
Take flight.
It's a 7-3 scoreline. Looking strong currently. Now they spot the cam in the backside of sight. They'll put a ping on that one to take it out. Spam coming through. A cyber cage that's been laid down by ZachaREEE. Boombot goes out as well, but off the back of that, Gen.G decides, you know what? Pump the brakes. Now if they were to try to go towards long A, there is an aggressive position for BABYBAY. Just pushed up, holding back behind boxes by Orb. But what do they decide to do? It looks like they're going to be moving back towards mid. Shawn initially pokes his head out, and they decide, again, to continue further away from where their initial destination was. All that time fighting on C allowed BABYBAY to really get himself in a strong position here. Now, Marved with a good play to get around that smoke. We've seen Marved make risky plays like that before. With the smoke going down on B, Rawkus not really going to be able to see much, so a recon dart going to be utilized. But it's very likely this will end up being a C hit.
Left.
They're going to have to deal with ZachaREEE, who's waiting right around the corner. Do they clear this 50-50? Not initially, and oh man, this is punishing a solid hold from FaZe. That is fantastically played by FaZe.
The bait first coming in from trying to spot inside the window, and they didn't actually spot Corey. So the first point of contact was ZachaREEE. So ZachaREEE being able to get that first kill forces a second player for Gen.G to try to go for that tight angle crosshair placement towards the left side door secondly. But then you have Corey that peeks out right after and able to get 4 kills out of that, a perfect hold for these two players of FaZe. I was thinking that Gen.G would, I know that they were going to hit, well, not no. I had a feeling that Gen.G was going to go back towards C to hit it, but I thought they would try to waste a bit of time after the kill from Marv and then go back from C main, C long, because they actually did have the utilities being used early. But MkaeL, though, opens it up early towards the sewers, or towards long. They're trying to dash into the site. Oh, what an off shot there from BABYBAY. He dashes back towards the back of the site. The cyber cages are coming up here, and they're still trying to move inside. They're still fighting it here. It's a 3-on-2. MkaeL keeping things alive, but he's stuck on a 2 versus 1 now for player 1. Reloading his clip. A 1 versus 1. No idea where the last player is at, but Marv has the tight angle, wins that one, and saves it for FaZe Clan. 5-7, salvaging that round. That could have been very disastrous, seeing how Gen.G were almost able to win a 3 versus 2. FaZe Clan able to get 5 rounds on defense. They take the attacker side now, and it's still not. It could still be anybody's game. That's what I want to get to. This is going to be a very tight second half.
Marved, top of the scoreboard, but BABYBAY and Corey just behind, 9 kills apiece. Emon on the other side, 13-6. MkaeL, 11-8. Strangely enough, though, Shawn off to a bumpy start. 5-8 for Shawn, but now that he switches over to the defense, we'll see what Shawn is able to do. Always fun to watch a Reyna play defense, especially if they're positioned towards garage. The way they use those leers to peek through and get aggressive. Now, FaZe is going towards B, and based on the setup currently from Gen.G, they kind of know that. So this is some good homework being done currently by Gen.G as they're ready for the push that's coming through. The utility is spent in that direction, and there's a lot of bodies waiting on the other side. Not often we get a brawl like this on the B start or the B pistol, but we'll take it. Now they start to change their minds after going through B main initially. They realize this is not working out as they take heavy casualties. So the C site will be their intended destination.
One enemy remaining.
Spike will go down, but it's now down to just one. It's Rawkus, and they're all over the place. Swarming this site. Gen.G with a solid retake. And a good pistol round win to kickstart this second half.
We saw the amount of times the right clicks came through just before the spike plan. They're just trying to find that camera, and unluckily for FaZe Clan, it was actually on the top of the telephone pole that allows their player one to spot the last player. But, you know, when I talked about the scrappy B-side plant and stuff like that too, instead of going for the spray through smoke, what adds a little bit more for FaZe Clan versus Gen.G? I mean, I forgot to say that Gen.G, they do have Sova, so they could actually have the shock darts. Same thing for FaZe Clan, but on top of that, they had the paint shells too, satchel charges and boom bots they could use on a pulse plan. So seeing them rush into the B side is understandable, but from the way that Gen.G, like you said, studying FaZe Clan, expecting some sort of hit towards B, they saw that coming, and it definitely barricaded the front B site and forced FaZe Clan back towards C, where they still had to play a numbers disadvantage. You had to go for a big play on a 4 versus 2. It did come into their favor. Now back on an eco, they're trying to work back towards B. But again, it's another crossfire setup for Gen.G with 3 players just around the B site.
They're grouped up in mid currently as FaZe Clan's trying to do some damage here to Gen.G. The boom bot spots out position, goes on the hunt, but its target disappears around the corner. A dart into Corey as they continue to push out onto the site, and it's just falling apart rapidly. Corey's the only one left alive. The spike's been dropped out on the site. Corey does have a sheriff and tries to change positions and go through the garage yet again. An echo of the pistol round. As the B site execute does not produce any success here. No spike plant coming out for FaZe. Corey just wants to do some damage at this point. But with just a sheriff and SMGs firing on the other side and these rapid moving targets, it's quite difficult.
30 seconds left.
Okay.
Well, at least lands one.
All right.
Which is fine here for Gen.G. I mean, they lost a player. The information's there. They know that Corey's lurking around grass/garage. They still have the positioning. You see the Spectre being held back, looking towards the back of the spawn. Towards back of the entrance of garage. And that's Gimo. Even though the gun has been salvaged, MkaeL still wins that fight. And it was MkaeL that was watching towards the entrance of garage spawn. And they get the round on their side. So yeah, they lose 3 players in the process, but that's pretty much a second round going through. They're going to have a full rifle round on their side. Actually, full rifle round for FaZe. Because they lost 2 players, it's still going to look quite scrappy for Gen.G. And they're not really close to any Blade Storm either for huynh to try to help out. So where Econ should still be fine though.
Look at where their money's at though. They're saving so that they're in a position where they can buy in the next round.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have 3,900 small shield and top of that too. They'll be fine.
And not to mention, we've seen Gen.G do well with rounds like this. So,
yeah, true.
Like we saw huynh play masterfully with the sheriff on a 4K that started to steal some of the momentum that FaZe had built up. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Now, FaZe, they're the ones on the back foot here. Down 9-5. They've got the advantage with the extra firepower coming in. They're going to be moving over to C, and the spike's going to be planted in a second here. There was no one really playing defense. Super passive currently on the C site.
Spike planted.
Playing intel-based. What does this Raze in mid get going for them, though? You can see Corey is sitting on the back line of the play. So Corey will get one, traded out immediately by huynh. Could have had a chance to spot the players crossing from B as well, but decided to go back after hearing the footsteps coming through from A long. See if that ends up affecting things or not. They've upgraded and picked up a rifle now. It's some extra firepower to work with, and it's in the hands of huynh. It's a player who wants to have it. Smoke's coming out from huynh as well as he dashes out onto the site with the tailwind. Gets caught off guard by the position of the player right around the corner, but Gen.G is making it happen, and just like that, Gen.G gets back into the round, and they've got ample time for the defuse. This is exactly what we said. You can't count them out.
That's crazy. I thought, because I know that there was a recon dart that came out from Gen.G, but there was a counter recon dart that came out that pulsed out huynh when he made it into the site, where I'm like, okay, well, FaZe, they already have pulse plan positioning. They have the rifles. They could actually take him down, but as they converge, huynh dashing into the front site by logs, you still had players coming in from the garage side ramp, which allowed for these quick trades, and no trades were needed because somehow it caught FaZe Clan off guard with the amount of players that moved up towards that C garage, and they just dissipated. Everybody just disappeared from a snap of the fingers. And FaZe Clan in a tight spot, trying to get an entry towards the sewers as they're stuck on an eco. but Gen.G are looking to run away with this second map.
Gen.G, player advantage. FaZe don't really have a ton to work with, but they've got some.
I saw Vandal.
Got one player on a pistol.
Okay.
Yeah. That dart into the belly of this target waiting around the corner does make things interesting as MkaeL is forced to eat that shock dart that lands right on top of him. The blast pack comes in too, and he's staring down at it. I like the timing on the peak from Marved, just understanding that he's going to be trying to take care of that so he doesn't take that damage. Being low on HP, he had to. No other choice. The scrappy nature of the round continues to illustrate itself as we end up on this A site. 1v2. Corey with a dink shot coming through, but not enough damage dealt. Both players incredibly low, 21 HP between the two of them. As Gen.G finds number 11 on the scoreboard, the full buy will come in from both sides, and FaZe, no surprise here, going for that op purchase. The question is whether or not it'll work out well for them on the attack. I know the scoreboard colors are flip-flopped, but look at the top. FaZe currently on the attacking side.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it already.
Still confuses me when I'm trying to talk money.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fixed soon.
Of course. We're still rolling with the punches. It's okay. Still a beautiful and lovely game. As you know, props to Riot for releasing it much earlier than anticipated. With that though, back to the action. We tried to push down towards mid. Something very new from Gen.G, as it hasn't been pulled out of their strat book on the defender side, trying to catch some opponents off guard. They were able to get one kill out of that, a trade, and also weaken Marved. So it's not too bad from the way that they pushed out. But they open a C site because of that. And on a map like Haven, when you lose one player, that's a huge momentum shift for the attacker side in their advantage, because you have to play some sort of a retake for the defenders right after.
FaZe. They've got Corey lurking on this A site, and they like what they see there, so they're starting to pull players away from C and shift them over. Now, Corey's going to get spotted by this cam if he gets out too far. There's the peek, and there's the dart delivery. And off that, Corey decides to back off, pull the dart out, but the rest of the team is still moving, advancing in this position. They've got 30 seconds to get on the site as a dart cover comes through from Heaven. There's a player in Heaven, a player in Hell, and one right around the corner in Spawn. Now, Marved just takes care of player one without really too much effort.
Okay.
And just like that, FaZe make it onto the site. They make it look easy, in fact. MkaeL, the last player standing, wondering how this happened so quickly. And it was really mostly Marv's handiwork with the rifle to get them in.
Does have a bit to work with. Recon dart, 2 shock darts, off shot miss. Very unusual here from BABYBAY, especially from the position that he had. And there you go. That's big advantage, big information. That's going to force one out. But the second thing is the unknown towards Graffiti. Second one lands in. Now they know that he's pushed towards the spawn. He checks the 50, and it's going to be Corey that gets it.
That's tough. He checks that other direction. I mean, that's very, very winnable. Not only does he bring it down to the 1v1, you're likely to see a swing come out from the Cypher who is behind boxes.
That's right.
And because of that right to left motion, that's a natural motion for a lot of players. It's left to right that's unnatural. So it should be an easy sweep across for a spray transfer, and also the close distance. But we do have a tack pause coming in for FaZe. It's an understandable one. It's the first round. They win here in the second half, and they can't allow themselves to lose a round immediately after. They have to take this momentum and build with it. Look at the carry coming in, though, from Marved and Corey. 17 and 16 each.
Yeah, looking good. Looking good. And especially as an IGL right now, though, Bach, is I understand this tactical pause. It's what are you doing versus Gen.G? Now that you know the Blade Storm is ready for a win, they still have a lot of money to work with for Gen.G to be able to buy this round. And then they're in a position that if they lose this one, the money's kind of reset for FaZe. So this is a crucial one for them. So not only they want to reset the momentum that Gen.G kind of built up on this second half, they also want to know how to counter all of the ults available aside from the Blade Storm for Gen.G. There's so many options right now for attacker side, for defender side for Gen.G, where they could actually play for retakes. They could use a Hunter's Fury to actually split out and play aggressive if they want. But Gen.G is looking in a better position despite them losing that previous round.
Still waiting for this pause to come undone so we can get back into the action. You can hear the chat tick. So it's very likely that we're going to be kicking things off here in just a second. BABYBAY again, that attacking side up. You got you can actually see the chat sneaking in there. R's in chat. They're ready to go, and so are we. So the time kicking off again. Right off the bat, we see the ult popped early. That's the Hunter's Fury from MkaeL. Doesn't really get anything going. No damage dealt, but they've got 4 other ults remaining. So Empress, Blade Storm, into the shadows, Neural Theft. They've got whatever they want to try and find that magical number 12.
Sorry, I just want to point this out. Because the Hunter's Fury came out and it didn't ping anybody, Gen.G thinks that since there's no pressure towards the A side, it's an open site. But Corey actually sneaked his way through, and he's in a big lurk position. So now he's already at defender spawn. They're rotating back towards A. Oh no, but MkaeL gets the kill! And that could be another tell to say, okay, let's rotate back, let's run the defense, especially after this plant. But it looked beautiful to start things off on paper for FaZe. They sold it pretty much for Gen.G. Gen.G technically played themselves after that ult, thinking that no pressure on A side means they're going to push towards B or C. They rotated players out, and now they're playing retake.
Look good Neural Theft to try and cut this push in half. Does it at least land on one pulse? Recon Dart's going to go high up into the sky to try and spot these players out. A pulse will come through that gives away at least one player's position, but Gen.G is moving in huynh to try to get onto the site. Huynh got the knives out, he's found one. BABYBAY gets around the corner, but it all comes down to this. It's Marved, who's inside spawn, but it doesn't matter, the spike's been stuck. He was too far away from the play. Shawn stuck it, and that's 12 rounds on the board. Match point for Gen.G.
And that's the situation that you didn't want to be in for FaZe. It was so close there for Marv, who was trying to flank back and lurk back in his favor for their side for FaZe Clan to try to win. But that dart that went towards sewers, spotting 2 players there, just really nullified Marv on that take because his teammates were falling down. They couldn't waste that clock. And they couldn't waste the push coming in from Gen.G for the retake for Marv to go for that flank. And because of that, they lose a round. And I said it was going to be a very low buy for FaZe in a situation where we may go to a 3rd map. So the silver lining is that they have the Blade Storm that could turn it over, and they're looking for some sort of mid push to start mid control. But Shawn is looking for that selfish play. Off angle in the front, could dismiss away. He gets the first kill. Blade Storm trying to push forward, trying to trade it back. And there you go, it clicks out but does not connect. We may be looking at a 3rd map here, Buck.
And we felt like we were going to end up there. FaZe, their fans were hoping otherwise. Because it gets a little scary when you go to that 3rd map. Marv trying to keep this one alive, but taken out as he goes for some of that utility. He's getting ready to send out a dark cover. ZachaREEE has snuck onto the site, but there's one immediately to the left. And the barrel shines through. Gen.G pick up the win 13-6 over FaZe Clan here in map number 2. So we are moving on into that 3rd map in the series.
So one more map to go. It is going to be decided on split to see who will move on to the First Strike finals in December. Please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back to figure out which